Hey everyone, we are going to start our next unit, which is unit 4, and it's about transformations. And today we're specifically talking about translations, and we're going to skip quite a bit of stuff in here because we decided there's some things we should focus on and may not focus on. So in terms of vocab, we're going to skip vector, initial point, terminal point, and realize we're going to go down a little bit. We're going to talk about a transformation is just sort of like a movement. So a transformation is just some type of movement and maybe size change of shapes or segments. That's like the Mr. Whitelaw version of what a transformation is. And today we're going to talk about a translation. So let's jump down to translation. And this is a translation is where you basically just slide or move an object left, right, up or down. So that's what a translation is. We're going to go left, right, up, or down. And then that's called a rigid motion. So rigid motion is basically where we have the same size. So no matter what we do with a shape or an object, we're going to keep its size, but we can change how it's where its position is. We can also rotate it, like turn something upside down or reflect it like a mirror reflection. Okay. And then we can have a what's called a composition of transformations. This is just where you have one or not one or we're gonna have two or more transformations. Yes, we have two or more transformations that happen at the same time. Now, pre-image is sort of like your original image. So if we had a triangle, we can call it triangle A, B, C. And then if we do a transformation, let's say we slide everything left 4 spaces and up 2 spaces, we have the image. So the image is the results of a transformation. So then we would call that something like triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. And notice we have these prime symbols. And then if we have another transformation, we could eventually have something like A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, meaning it had a second transformation that happened. Now, with our translations, we have horizontal and vertical components, and that's where horizontal is just going to be left and right, vertical is up and down. So that would deal with the X values if it's horizontal, and it'll deal with the Y values if it's vertical. And then I'm going to cross off component form, and what we focus on now is coordinate form. And coordinate form is the following. We're going to say we have an X and a Y coordinate. So you always have this. You have a little arrow, meaning we're going to apply this transformation. And then we're going to have an X plus and or minus something. And then we're going to have a Y plus or minus something. And that something is going to be either the horizontal or the vertical change that happens. So that's the coordinate form. So that's what we're going to focus on in today's lesson. So let's go to the next page. Now, this talks about vectors. I'm not worried about a vector, so we're going to cross that off. And we're just going to go down to translations. Um, and our translations we talked about is just moving something. But again, this is talking about a vector, sort of, because they have this direction and magnitude. But I'm going to focus on here. If I start with P, it has the point X1 and Y1. If I move it up and to the right, I was able to take my X value and change it by adding something. And I also took my Y value and added something as well. So how does that look? Let's go to the next page for some practice problems. And what we're going to do is we're going to change this up a little bit. We're going to skip numbers 4 through 7 because this is called vector form. And well, really quick, I just want to show you that number four is the same thing as saying if I have X and Y, what I want to do is I want to subtract four from every original X value, and then I am going to add zero to every Y value. And we'll see that play out here in a minute, but that's the form we're going to use. The form that they have here in the notebook is called component form, which we are not focusing on this school year. So let's look at a rule. So if I want to write a rule for this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a point, an original point, let's say P, and let's find its image, which is P prime. And I want to know, how did I get there? So I'm going to start off with my X comma Y arrow, and then I'm going to put a little placeholder here. What do I do with my X and Y values? So for P to P prime, I go left, I mean right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I added 4 to my X value. And then my Y value went up 1, 2, 3, which is plus 3. So every single point from my pre-image goes to my image by adding 4 to the X and adding 3 to the Y. On number 9, I can say X comma Y. And what does that give me? I'm going to put my X and my Y in here. I'm going to look at a point, maybe like S, and then its image, which is S prime. And I went right 2, so there's plus 2 for my X. And then my vertical is I went down 1, 2, 3, which is minus 3. Now, if I want to apply it without a graph and I want to find stuff, this just means take my original point and I want to change the X and Y value. So I'm going to add 6 to my X value, and I'm going to subtract 3 from my Y value, and J now becomes J prime, and I get 10 comma 2. Where number 11, R prime turns into R double prime, because I have to add another prime when I do another transformation. I'm going to add 6 to my X, and then I'm going to subtract 3 from my Y. So I'm going to get 6 comma negative 8 for the value. And then number 12, it talks about a composition. So think about this. If I went left 1 unit with this spaceship, and then I went up 4 units with my Y, and then it says I move again 2 units left, I'm going to go another 2 units left. So altogether, I went 3 units left and I went 4 units up. And this would be my rule to do one single composition. So, pretty quick lesson. There's a little bit more maybe involved, but we can talk about that in class. But if you have any questions, reach out. If not, we'll see you in the next video or in class. Have a great day.